Hey, welcome back everyone to Veteran Nation. I am the skipper. The sergeant couldn't be with us today, but that's okay. We've got some good guests that we're going to be going through. I do have, as a stand-in co-host, my buddy Joseph Mangrino. He's going to be here with us. He's going to be here trying to keep me honest.
Right? I'll do my best.
So I do want all of you to know that you can absolutely come to nrnplus.com/VN. That's our landing page. You can subscribe. It's $79 for the year or $9 a month, depending on how you want to set that up. You can also join us on Facebook. We have a group on there, Veteran Nation on Facebook. Join us. Tell us what type of guests you want us to come on, any questions you have. We're all about trying to get you connected with sources. Now, we have a guest today who is one of those sources. We have Jessica Hodge. She is with the American Council of Women's Veterans, and it's a brand new organization. How long have you been doing this, Jessica?
Well, I set up the nonprofit about 2 years ago, and then had to get all the paperwork and everything situated. And then a group of my friends here in town, we kind of started the little group, and then we decided that it was time to make the group a nationwide group. So in June, I reached out during the middle of the pandemic when everyone was comfortable meeting online, and reached out to all the female veteran Facebook groups. And let me tell you, there are close to 100 female veteran Facebook groups. And, you know, people think they're in one, and that means that they're connected to all the women veterans. And so we're trying to organize all that, get everyone under one umbrella. And so far we have about 300 members, and we've just written our bylaws, and you know, we haven't charged dues yet. We'll see how many we have after that's all done. But.
No, that's all good stuff, because I can tell you women do a much better job networking than men. We really screw that up. But I do want to talk about, in 2016, you were the Tennessee State Women's Veteran, correct?
Yes, I was the Woman Veteran of the Year for the state of Tennessee. That's an award given out by the Tennessee Department of Veterans Services. So, you know, your state veterans organization, state government veterans organization. And that was because I do a lot of work at the stand downs, which were typically geared toward men. And we started seeing a lot of women veterans come in, and there was nothing for them. They were issuing, you know, combat boots and pants for the guys and underwear for the men, and nothing for the women. So started gathering items and going to churches and getting them to donate things, and set up our own table. And, you know, 3 years later, we just, we had, it looked like a salon in the middle of the stand down. We'd have the men come over bringing their girlfriends. So can we get her hair done? So that was one of the things that I did. And I started organizing within the state and within the university systems here, gathering women together. And we had about 2,000 women veterans, you know, in an email list, and disseminating information to them.
Oh, excellent.
So that's why I got the award. And that lit a fire under my butt. So.
And you haven't stopped.
No, I haven't stopped. So.
Can you talk about some of the challenges that you've found as a female veteran yourself? You know, I've talked with other female veterans who've said that there's a lot of programs out there for veterans, but they're mainly male-centric. Have you found that to be the case as well?
Sure. So the VA programs that are out there, for the most part, are for men. One of the things, women health care. There's not been a lot of women's health care until just recently. And I served from 1989 to 1988, and I'm a Desert Storm veteran. And I got injured, and I was on VA vocational rehabilitation, which is for anyone that's 20% or greater service connected. And I was given a work study job, And they didn't know what to do with me. They put me at the VA outpatient clinic, and they really they had no women patients at the time, much less anyone working there that had been a woman veteran. So women's health care was a really big issue at the time. And I'll just say this, at the time I was young and needed birth control. And the VA wasn't equipped to do the exam for birth control. And rather than tell me that I could have gone to the health department to get this, because I didn't know, I'd been using military health care, how would I know? And they set up an exam table and had 2 people hold my legs up, with a gentleman on the other side of the curtain having an EKG. So, and now they have women's clinics. So, you know, it's come a long way. There's a ways to go, but it's really come a long way.
That's, I've heard of different VAs doing different things. I know the one in Long Beach actually has like a full women's clinic, like what you were saying. I don't know. I haven't been there, so I can't tell you all the services they offer. I know it's got a better reputation than the VA clinic I'm assigned to.
Yeah.
You're probably assigned to the same one I am.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We don't actually have one here. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I'm an hour and a half away from the Mountain Home VA Medical Center. So we have a large community clinic here. We do not have a women's clinic, but they do have 2 women doctors that are specifically, you know, to treat the women veterans. And both of them are veterans themselves. So it's really great. I feel like I'm getting a lot better care just because they're women veterans and they understand.
I mean, I really do hear what you're saying with this being an issue out there. And are there any ideas you might have or ways we could try and help get the word out? Because this is an issue. Even just at our VFW, our local one, we have one of our officers. It is a female veteran. And we went down to a district meeting not quite a year ago. And as we're all going into the main meeting room, one of the older males looks at her and says, "The auxiliary's that way." Just, they instantly see her and they tell her to do this. And I mean, I've known her for a while. She's an awesome person. So I mean, when you have friends like that, I kind of don't like seeing that.
Yeah, I've actually had that experience 3 times. So I joined the Marine Corps League when I first moved here, and they wanted me to be in the auxiliary, and I wouldn't do it. And then I went over to the VFW, where the old guy slapped me on the ass and asked me to get him a beer. And yeah. And then he laughed. Then he laughed when he said, you know, I told him that I was a veteran. He laughed at me. And the American Legion here is the same way. It's a boys' club. The women are welcome because, you know, they want the numbers, but they don't want you involved. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, I wanted to do this National Women Veterans Service Organization just for women. Why not? We have DAV just for disabled veterans and VFW just for combat veterans. You know, why not have a women veterans organization just for women veterans?
Yeah, we have an AMVETS in Loma Linda, California. That's it's an only female chapter. So I think that's I think this is something that we're going to see more and more of as we go forward.
Yeah, I think so. And the reason why we're doing the American Council of Women Veterans the way we are is I know that veteran service organizations in general are having a time right now, not even pandemic wise, you know, for years now, you know, a decade or so, they're having a hard time getting people to join and keeping them engaged. And I think a lot of it has to do with this having chapters and going to meetings. And it's really inconvenient for the modern world to, you know, try to go to a meeting after working all day or on the weekend when you have family activities going on. So we have, I checked into it with the IRS, which governs the nonprofit rules, and you can absolutely have meetings online. And it counts towards, you know, being being meetings to keep your nonprofit compliant. And so we have decided that we're going to make this a National Women Veterans Service Organization without chapters. There are no chapters.
Nice.
You can be a member, and we're going to have our meetings online, and you can come or not, as long as you vote once a year in an election that you're, or something, then you're an active member and you pay your dues.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I think you can get more engagement that way. People will be more interested in joining.
Now, women that join, what type of things are they going to experience? Like what type of things do you generally talk about or decide, hey, this is going to be a big thing for us?
Okay, so right now our big thing is we want to get the numbers and then be able to have the power to be able to get some attention. So one of the things that we're working on is getting members to start with and getting a really large number. And the current issue that we're really talking about right now, because it's recent current events, is the issue that was going on at Fort Hood with PFC Gian.
Mm-hmm.
How she disappeared, and she's not the only one. And of course, it's not just women, but historically, women have been, raped and then, either abused in trying to report the rape. I had that situation myself. Or, now it seems like it's okay to just make them disappear. So that's one of the things we want, is to, petition Congress to change the rules, to change the law that, when someone goes missing, be it male or female, don't instantly say they're UA or AWOL. Let's check into it, give it a week, and investigate before you decide that they just deserted.
No, that's absolutely a great point. I know, with my last active duty unit, which was back in 2015, we had in our command every type of sexual assault with the exception of female on female. So, I mean, it's not just the reporting and the victimization. It's not just a women's issue, but women are definitely at the front of it. But it's something that is only going to get worse if we don't fight it.
Yeah, and there seems to be this culture of silencing it, through the DOD in general. And, that's got to come from the top down.
Absolutely.
So, I reported what happened to me, and it was the senior enlisted in my command, and I reported it to the senior female enlisted in the command, which wasn't in my unit, but she was in battalion level. Mm. And she basically shamed me.
Mm. Wow.
And said, we have it hard enough. You're just going to make the rest of us look bad. What am I supposed to do about it? He outranks me. And, so it's just a suck it up or get out.
Yeah, it's getting way too common. I know.
It's kind of bad that, we're in 2020 and we still have issues like this going on.
Yeah. And mine happened in 1991. So, I don't think much has changed. I really don't. There's a lot of lip service out there, but I don't think that there's really been, you can make all the laws in the world, but until you start enforcing them, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. I've talked a couple times on the show about how I've seen senior officer level misconduct, and it's just swept under the rug. But the thing about that is it trickles down, and people see and they think, okay, well, they're doing that. That's okay. So then I can do this. And really, it makes it very hard to be a junior leader, to be a fresh lieutenant or to be a sergeant, because you feel like if I do something, I'm not going to have the leadership have my back. So it makes it really hard.
Yeah, I had one junior enlisted female Marine under me. And I made it very clear to her that if she had issues, she could feel comfortable to come to me and that I would do something about it. And I also made it clear to all of my junior Marines that they could come to me. Mm-hmm. That, if they needed to share something or something was going on, I'd keep it in confidence, but something would be done.
Absolutely. That's,
So,
yeah, every generation of Marines has its big things that we have to fight through. And I'm speaking of Marines because we're all Marines here. But
right.
it, it goes to every single branch. And, it's really going to take some hard leadership to fight through some of these issues.
It
Uh,
is. And I really put myself out there when I told, you know, my squad that. I put myself out there because I didn't know that I would actually get backup from the chain of command if I did try to take action.
mhm. Yeah,
So like you said, you really put yourself out there when you're in a leadership position. You don't know if you're going to be able to keep your promises.
it takes a lot of courage.
And
And
you're not going to get their trust unless you can make some promises.
mhm.
And we all know that combat, you need to trust each other to do what you say you're going to do.
And I would imagine that a lot of these things are what you discuss with the council, correct?
Yes, yes. So the purpose of the American Council of Women Veterans is to empower women veterans to lead high quality lives and to be able to have equal benefits, equal treatment. And that's not just for veterans, it's also for active military and reserve. So anyone that has served or is serving.
That's excellent.
Perfect.
That's where can they get in touch with the American Council of Women's Veterans to join?
Sure. So we have a Facebook group. It's the American Council of Women Veterans, or anyone can email me at any time. My email address is Tennessee, TN for Tennessee, Junebug at gmail.com.
Okay. Now I do want to shift gears a little bit, and I would like to talk a little bit about your service.
Sure.
Now you came into the Marine Corps. Can I ask why?
Sure. Well, I come from a small town in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. There's not a lot of opportunity. And career day came around, and I didn't have the money for college. And my parents didn't want to, sign the FAFSA for me to be able to get financial aid. So I decided I was going to go in the military. And my dad used to talk about the Marines, how he hated the Marines. He was a sailor. He was a sailor until I was 11 years old. And how he hated the Marines. He hated the Marines, the stupid Marines. We had an American Legion post in town, and he hated all the guys that were in the Legion who were Marines because they were Marines. So I went in the Marine Corps.
You just like kind of rubbing it in his face, didn't you?
Well, he was and is a real jerk. So he wasn't a good father. So, and he knows it. We've had the conversation. He wasn't a good father, so he got what was coming.
Where were you stationed at?
I started out, of course, at Paris Island, good old 4th Battalion, and then I went for training at the cryptology school in Pensacola, and to the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, and then I was stationed at Little Creek, Virginia for my entire time, but I was hardly ever there. So
Were you out in the field, being sent around?
Yeah, I was TBY all the time. I was a listener.
Anything cool that you did, or anything that you look back very fondly?
Well, I got to listen to people without them knowing it. So, yeah, but I really can't talk about it.
Okay.
So, and I was with a group that, I don't know if you've heard of the radio reconnaissance team. It was.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I was with them. I was one of the listeners with them, and we listened to people, of course, not in country, because you're not allowed to do that. But
so you were secret squirrel.
Yes and no. I mean, all we did was listen and record things, and if we thought it was important, pass it up the chain. So,
is there anything you miss?
Yeah, I miss the camaraderie. I do. I miss the the schedule,
Hmm.
the structure. I work with people now. I work for a federal contractor, and interestingly enough, it's a small one. There's about a dozen people. Interestingly enough, I'm the only veteran, and I'm the only woman. So, and let me tell you, they drive me crazy. Everything's a mess all the time. The place looks like a dump. And my desk is always clean, and just. There's not a lot of.
My desk is never clean as yours.
No.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like that, I guarantee you. So, but there's just not a lot of follow through and follow up, and people don't do what they say. A lot of gaffing off. So
That's I know.
I go in and get the job done and leave.
I know a couple of veterans like that at my job that still sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
That's one thing we've talked a lot about is, transitioning out of the military. It's incredibly difficult because not everybody understands how our skills relate.
That's right.
I was not prepared for having to deal with feelings of grown men who were older than me.
Yeah. I got a touchy-feely boss. Not in a bad way, just needs a hug all the time from everybody. It's weird. It's just weird.
Have you experienced that? Because it was weird for me.
Yeah.
I got kind of lucky.
It's interesting because after I got injured, I don't know if you know what TDRL is, the temporary duty retirement list.
Oh, yes.
So I was TDRL, and they actually found me a job. My brother was living in Clarksville at the time, Clarksville, Tennessee, and working as a civilian contractor at Fort Campbell. And so they sent me out there and hooked me up with the Department of Labor. And while I was doing my voc rehab stuff before I went to move to Knoxville, when I was out there, they had me teaching the tax class.
Oh.
So, the transition, the things that you were not allowed to tell people in the tax class is just phenomenal. I got written up by the VA supervisor because I worked for the U.S. Department of Labor, the Veterans Employment and Training Services. But they had a VA rep that would come in. It was a week-long class, and they'd have a VA rep come in on Wednesdays to give their benefits. And he'd tell them a whole bunch of things. So on Thursday, I would go over the things that he didn't tell them. Well, he decided he was going to audit my class and sat through the whole thing and wrote a complaint that I was giving too much benefits information, that I didn't need to tell everybody about all of these benefits. If they needed them, they would figure it out.
That's, yeah.
Official reprimand.
Oh, that's kind of bullshit. I feel like that's just how the VA, the military just looks at it. It's
it's hard for me because there are great people at the VA, people who really do care, but it's just such a bureaucracy that I've told several veterans who, have just gotten out or getting out. I'm like, look, the VA wants you they want you to give up or die or just go away.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you don't do those three, eventually you're going to get what's owed to you. And I don't think most people understand how hard it is to fight with the VA.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 25 years, and they treated me for arthritis for 25 years, which my legs got crushed. I have all kinds of old metal in there. And just now, 2 years ago, they sent me to a neurologist for the first time. And they said that if I had seen somebody 20 years ago, it would be a whole different story. So now I am 80% disabled just on that. I have no mental health or tinnitus or anything like that. 80% just on that. Now, they could have taken care of it years ago and saved a bundle. But now they're going to have to pay me that money for the rest of my life.
Wow. Well, we all have our medical issues. Mine are all in my head.
It's just really, people look at me when I say I'm 80%, and it's just on that. I mean, they're like, wow, it must be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of the common ones. Well, I've got my service dog here. That's who's trying to take my attention.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to go do that. Now I'm going to file for PTSD and GERD and tinnitus and all that, and I'll be 100%. But it's, I wanted them to take care of this first.
Absolutely. That's yeah. Fight for what you're owed.
Yep.
They would just, take care of their people. Maybe things would be better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of it's incompetence too. It seems like, I know here, the Mountain Home VA Medical Center, the reason I got to see a neurologist 2.5 years ago is they cleaned house. They got a whole new orthopedic team in there, and the guy looked at me. He's like, "You've never seen a neurologist? You don't have arthritis. This is definitely, serious nerve damage."
That's, I'd like to say I'm shocked, but the VA, it's just, it really depends. Don't get me wrong. There are some VA centers that are amazing.
Yeah.
And then there are those ones where it's like, okay, this is just where I'm at, and I'm going to have to keep fighting with these guys.
Yep. And it really does come from the top down, because if they don't, set the example and set the bar high enough, then, it's going to be just good enough for government work. That's going to be the attitude. Mm-hmm. And, people say, oh, the VA is horrible. And I have to say to them, well, you don't know that. Maybe the VA here is pretty bad, but I've been to other VAs where it was, go to Nashville. It's really pretty decent out there. And, my brother goes to the one in New York, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard good things about several of the ones around here.
Yeah.
Just mine is not.
Yeah, same here. Mine is not.
Doesn't help sometimes too, depending on the doctors in there. It might not even be all of them. It might just be you in the location, and sometimes having those government positions that gives certain things that kind of helps them keep their jobs somehow.
Yep. Like I said, they put in a couple women doctors here about 5 years ago for primary cares, and my health care, my personal health care went from like a 2 to a 10 and how good it is. And it's just, who you get.
Absolutely.
I know other vets at that clinic that don't get good health care, but, they don't have my doctor.
I'm fortunate because we have a satellite clinic that I am able to go to, and the people there are great. It's just when I got to go to the big one, it's like, okay, here we go. I got to put my boxing gloves on and get ready.
Yeah, I know an old guy that drives to Sevierville to the satellite clinic. He transferred up there because he liked the doctor better.
Is there anything that you think, like, if a veteran's getting out, any programs that you've come across that you're like, this one's amazing and you should absolutely try to touch base with? Anything?
I think everybody should join the DAV when they get out of the military. Join the DAV and let them file your claims, because it's night and day. When the DAV files your claims, you're giving them power of attorney, and they have national service officers. And I've been to that academy, so I know. These guys are national service officers. They're attorneys in fact. They're like lawyers. Mm-hmm. They know every rule under Title 38, which is the VA federal code. They know all of the rules. They know how the ratings work. They know how to word a claim. There might be 3 or 4 words in their claim that are different than yours. You're going to get rejected, and they're going to get you the full thing. So I think everybody should join the DAV and, let them file your claims. And I think everybody should file a claim when they get out, period. And do it immediately.
Did you?
No, I did it by myself, and it's a nightmare.
Yes. I started.
Not too late.
I started by myself, but I eventually had someone who was like, no, get a VSO. And then I got a VSO, and I got a lot more movement. I've heard a lot of great things about the DAV. It was just I didn't have one near me when I did my claim, so that's why I didn't.
Yeah, one of the things about DAV is the National Service Officers are VA certifying officials. So it kind of jumps a level when you file it, a level of review, and goes straight to the next level.
Oh,
Because
very nice.
it's as if the VA is someone at the VA is filing your claim for you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I just want to go over one more time before we wrap up. How can someone reach out to the American Council of Women's Veterans?
Okay, so for right now, they can go to our Facebook group. And if they don't have Facebook, they can email me. And that's TN like Tennessee, junebug@gmail.com. And in about 6 months, we're going to have a website. And it'll be we're going to move off of Facebook. And we're going to have an online community for women veterans on a website.
Excellent. So if
Awesome.
you're watching, make sure you go onto Facebook or send an email. Go ahead and get all linked up. Jessica, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today. I know we're not live because we had some technical things that we were working out, but we really wanted to get you on. We wanted to get this information out here. If you could, please stay in touch with us, and we want to help your organization grow. And if you have any other veterans who are with your organization that want to come on, they've got something that they want to share, definitely send them to us, because it's all networking and getting veterans help.
Right, absolutely. Be happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for everything you do. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. It was nice to meet you. I see the squiddly skipper here all the time when I watch the show, but
I'm sorry you got to look at this ugly bug and this bald head.
well, I just had to get that in there. Marine calling himself skipper. Yeah. She should be ashamed. Conduct